I am Chigoziye and an author, of course, and I've written 2 books. The first one, The Fisherman, which came out in 2015 and was launched here, and an orchestra minorities just came out in January of this year. So I describe The Fisherman as, to me, it's a story about, you know, siblinghood. It's really about a family. So this family of 4 brothers who bond together, they unified at the beginning, and then they meet these on the way to fishing, just a kind of guilty pleasure. They encounter these very strange, rather mystical figure who is believed in the vicinity of Akure, where the story is said to be a prophet of some kind. So he makes this prognosis, which the boys misinterpret to mean that one of them will kill each other. And, you know, that fractures the bond and leads to very dire consequences for the family and for the boys as well. So An Orchestra of Minorities is much of a different novel in that regard. So it is mostly a story about, you know, what people do for love, and also about the search for, you know, a kind of explanation for the life of an individual. What does it mean to live from before one is born to a certain age in the Igbo cosmology? So it is about Chinonso, a poultry farmer who is lowly and also lonely, and one day he meets this woman who is about to jump off a bridge to her death, and he makes a kind of gesture to save her. And in the aftermath of that, in appreciation, she finds him, and, you know, they fall in love. And he realizes that what she already knew, which is that this would not go well with her family. And then, you know, it really traces him trying to do everything he could to hold on to her so that he would not lose her. And that also leads to the transformation of his life. So in both novels, I'm really very interested in the emotional motility of characters. You know, what can initiate a radical change in a person? What can cause the love between brothers or even parents and child to be fractured and torn from love to hate? Or in An Orchestra of Minorities, what can cause a person who is at the beginning of the novel very, you know, almost sacrificial, you know, in his generosity? He throws his prized chickens into the river. What can cause him to be so broken, you know, by the end of the novel, to become this guy who is so angry, you know? So this is the thesis of the 2 novels. I think another interesting thing about my work is that the way the stories are told. I don't know, I say that I'm incapable of writing a traditional story. So in The Fisherman, the frame was that I just considered myself as a 10-year-old. How did I see the world? I tried to interpret everything through association. If I went to school and somebody bullied me, I'm going to come back home and say, oh, this guy who is like a Superman, because that's what I understand. So I make associations, and that way I'm able to understand things that I shouldn't have. So Benjamin tells that story by associating things with animals. In orchestra, the chi of the individual, of Chinonso, is the narrator. So it's you know, it lends some complexity to it, because it's also not just Chinonso's story, but also the story of the chi. So there are 2 stories running through the novel.